Hey everybody, this is Minion Soldier and this is Ship Updates. So if you're a new subscriber to the channel, I noticed there's been a bunch of new ones. Basically every Friday, a few hours after Reverse the Verse, as quickly as I can kind of get it together. Um, I basically take all the week's updates, anything that I find on ships, and you know, slap it all together into a distilled and hopefully 15 minutes-ish show. Can't always do that. Sometimes it's shorter, sometimes it's longer, but I try to. That's how I, basically, if you're watching this show, which apparently a lot of people have been watching lately, that's generally how this all works. There's no defined time as to when it's going to come out, just Fridays after Reverse the Verse, because that's usually when most of the updates come. So, right off the bat, Carrick. Carrick and the Ursa rover are going in for basically design meetings, working out more or less, refining what they want out of this ship. Now, that may play into some of the recent reveals we've gotten on procedural planets. Being able to land on them and explore. So I guess, the Carrick being somewhat of an exploration ship and somewhat of a science ship, kind of a little bit of both mixed in, it would kind of make sense that you would kind of try to deliver both those pieces at once, so that way you could land on a procedural planet and then go around and explore, which also kind of plays in with the mining ship, which I believe is going to be going straight into production. To me, that just makes sense because, when you watch 10 for the Chairman this week and Chris Roberts talking about going down onto procedural planets and being able to mine, I think that all just kind of plays together. And so having the Carrick going in along with its rover and, this mining ship going out for concept and possibly concept sale later this month, that all just kind of plays together. Now, how quickly those things are going to be delivered, I don't really know, but hopefully soonish. I mean, the Saber was fairly quick from concept to actual delivery and hangar and flyable, but then again, I mean, it was kind of obvious that the Saber had undergone a lot of work prior to CitizenCon. So how much of that work had already been done before what we saw at CitizenCon, you can't really tell. So no real framework to define how quickly we could see the miner or the Carrick in its rover, but possibly this year, as in, like, a semi-finished state where you can land on procedural planets. No real date as of yet, or indication thereof. So with the Carrick going in for those basic design meetings, of course it's waiting on the Caterpillar to clear the way. And we did find out some stuff about the Caterpillar today. The Caterpillar, of course, Sandy tweeted a picture of some of the interior of the Caterpillar, being the sort of like the ladder within the Caterpillar. And we also found out a little bit more about the Caterpillar as kind of like a carrier for Dragonfly snub fighters. And we were in the midst of hearing about, the Dragonfly being the one snub fighter that goes to to quantum drive. And they were, explaining how that was a balancing point against the other snub fighters, whereas they can land on a planet, but the Dragonfly can't, but it can use quantum. And right in the midst of that, I guess Matt Sherman was furiously trying to get a hold of anyone who was on set, saying, no, 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 the quantum drive is dead. There's going to be no quantum drive on the Dragonfly, which is disappointing, but it was kind of cool to hear about the, more or less confirming that, yes, the Caterpillar is going to be a full-on carrier for Dragonflies, or at least in one configuration. Possibly there's going to be a specific Dragonfly hangar module on the, Caterpillar, so you can still just do straight cargo or straight, rescue or boarding or whatnot. But it was kind of cool to hear that aspect, but disappointing once again to hear that no quantum drive on that particular snub fighter. What else have we found out? Okay, in 2.4, they did mention something about a new hangar, but I'm not sure if they were meant to say like it's a revision of an existing hangar, or if it is like a completely new hangar from the ground up. I'm not too sure, so kind of waiting to find out about that. And a new ship in the game, Now, I think that what they're saying with that is it's probably going to end up being the flyable Starfarer, because apparently they are flight testing the Starfarer right now. So, but these are things that they're aiming to get into 2.4. These are things that are not guaranteed to be in 2.4. But since they didn't explicitly state that the Starfarer would be flyable, even though it seems like the next logical candidate for a flyable ship, that is not guaranteed. So we'll have to wait and see. Now, some other updates that we got. The Herald, of course, well, we already knew this. It's being worked on in Austin. The artist is Josh Coombs, who is working on that right now. Now, there is, there are some people having a discussion about the Herald right now in the shipyard forums under, under the Drake sub forum, and then the Herald, sub forum within that. Some people are talking about the recent Herald art that's been getting out, and not too pleased with that ship. Its shape is somewhat changing a little bit, and it's becoming a little bit thicker looking and a little bit more squat and down to the ground. So there is that conversation going on relative to the Herald. So something, if you're a Herald owner, something you may want to participate in. Also, we found out, that the F7A, which is the military variant of the Hornet, that was basically, if you were playing Arena Commander in the very first iterations of Arena Commander, the Hornet that you had was the F7A Hornet. That Hornet is Chris Smith is doing some work on it, so not sure that we're going to see that anytime soon. But I do believe at one point there were body kits available so that you could mod your F7C to look like an F7A, or yeah, it would have been the F7C, because the Super Hornet is it's a two-seater, not a one-seater. So I'm not sure if that's going to play into the people who have the body kits being able to install the body kits on their ship, but I would think that would be the likely outcome. We heard a little bit about the Javelin, just insofar as they are continuing to work on it, but we've heard that both these ships are very close to being finished. Let's see. Sorry. We did hear something about every ship being available at launch, ? That is not guaranteed. Ben said that at the point when they designed the Endeavor and released the Endeavor, that's when they started having to look at the schedule and saying what is going to be here by launch and what isn't. I guess by launch they mean the official launch of the PU and not just Squadron 42. So I guess every ship post that is not guaranteed. But how ships work out in the schedule, because we've seen some ships leapfrog others. A later ship might indeed make it into the game. Like, obviously the small miner is more or less going to make it in the game, but, or at least my estimation is that it will, but other ships may not. So we don't have a defined list, and we can't just draw a line and say everything after the Endeavor not guaranteed and everything prior to the Endeavor is guaranteed. That's still being decided, and we don't have any information on that yet, and I don't think we'll have any information on that anytime soon, because definitely the tears will flow once that comes out. Jim Martin is working on the Buccaneer concept art, and likely I think the Buccaneer and the Dragonfly are going to be the next two concept ships that we see after the Misk Prospector, which is the mining ship that we're hopefully going to see at the end of this month. Now, we were told a while ago when the Blade came out that there was going to be 6 ships, and they were hoping to get them out one every 6 weeks. And of course, the first one was the Blade. The next one is the Misk Prospector, which is the end of this month. So I guess early mid-June is when we would see the next one, and then early August would be when we would see the next. So I would probably guess that we're probably going to see the Dragonfly in June, the Buccaneer in August, and then after that, it's entirely up in the air as to whether or not we'll see the Polaris first or the the Asperia Prowler, which is a stealth boarding ship. Now, the Asperia Prowler is, of course, held up by the fact that we don't have a defined look for the Tavaran race. And once again, that was confirmed today that they are still working on that, and there doesn't appear to be any definite forward motion to that extent. So even though we know that the Polaris is out and getting its work done, it is, of course, a Corvette, so it's a larger vessel, so it may take longer to do. But, you know, it may take longer to define the look of the Tavaran race and then design the ship after the fact. So chances are both the Polaris and the Prowler we're probably not going to know anything about either one until end of September. But that, of course, is my guesstimate, and that is not definite. Now, let's see. The Orion, people were asking about that today, and there really hasn't been any work done on the Orion apart from the mining mechanic. Yeah, Polaris, I just kind of glossed over that. There really hasn't been any information on the Polaris beyond that, other than it's named after the Polaris ICBM, which is, I believe, the sea-launched intercontinental ballistic missile for the U.S. Navy. The Idris, once again, the Idris, the debate continues as to whether or not the Idris will be released prior to Squadron 42. Ben was reiterating the fact that the Idris, has some very important some very important sets for Squadron 42, so they're not sure that they want to reveal that prior to the game being out. But as he stated, there's a very compelling argument to get the Idris out to the backers prior to Squadron 42, and since it is so close to being done, the debate, I guess the internal debate and the external debate amongst the backers continues. So, I mean, if you're an Idris owner, or if you would just like to see the Idris, get on the forums and make your voice heard. Yeah, so we already did the Dragonfly as a carrier for the Caterpillar as a carrier for the Dragonflies, which is interesting. And I guess on the Piracy Show on Monday, I'll discuss that a little bit, but I think I've kind of already gone over that topic. But there's something else I want to discuss with the Reclaimer, just kind of seeking opinions on that matter, but I'll get into that on Monday. So that is pretty much the show for this week. So those are all the updates I picked up upon. If there's anything else, once again, for all the new subscribers, if there's anything else that you see that I didn't pick up on, please put it in the comments below so I can add annotations to the video, and possibly add, if it's important enough, add another segment, or any kind of information that I can maybe add to the next video. If you pick up on something or you see something on social media that I didn't see, please, once again, let me know. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and thanks for watching.
Quantum travel initiated.